Hey guys, so this is gonna be a kind of tribute video, and I'm gonna have this unedited as well because it's gonna come from the heart. Uh, this past week, Tuesday night slash Wednesday morning, word broke that Joseph Laurinaitis, aka World War Animal, had passed away. So I was finishing work, checked my phone, and my phone was as you guys know, big wrestling fan. So my phone flooded with wrestling posts that Animal had died, and wow, that knocked me for six. Definitely, because uh, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, they were a big impact on my life when I was a kid. Along the lines of Randy Savage, Warrior, uh, The Click, big impact on my life. Those guys made me want to be a wrestling fan, you know. I mean, I only got to know the Road Warriors through the WWF in the early 90s. But then as I got older, I started to do the research and watch earlier matches. Those that don't know, the Road Warriors were brought up, well, they were born in Chicago and then brought up in Minneapolis. Two friends that, worked out together and went into a wrestling camp with a former wrestler, Eddie Sharkey, who was a bartender at a nightclub that they were bouncing at. And Eddie Sharkey, those that don't know who Eddie Sharkey is, Eddie Sharkey trained loads of wrestlers out of the Minnesota area, loads of wrestlers. So they got trained, and when you look back at the Road Warriors at their build at the time, they were quite rugged and almost Mr. Olympia kind of physiques, almost, not quite, but they were big guys. So they thought, well, they can do, if these were built like this, so if wrestling's what it is, we beat people up when we're throwing them out of the bar. So they can do that on TV, in front of live audiences. So the first one out of that camp that they were part of was Animal. He got his tryout down in Georgia Championship Wrestling, which would later become WCW, and then Hawk got his place as well, and I think it was in the mid, I can't remember specifically when, but I know it was in the mid-80s that they got their first break together. And first it was just Animal doing one-on-ones, and then eventually when Hawk came in, started the tag team going, and from there it just kept going. They came in with sort of like a biker gimmick, sort of like the Road Warrior film with Mel Gibson. The Mad Max film with Mel Gibson. So they came in with that kind of gear, and then as time went on, as everybody knows, they went from that to being war paint slash face paint in their faces, and then that developed to the massive football shoulder pads that they had with the spikes and everything. So that became their trademark, and then as they got bigger and bigger, as everybody knows, Animal's trademark face paint was the spider on his forehead, and then mesh multiple colour web. And then Hawk's was the Two-Face look, sort of like Two-Face and the Joker combined. So it was crazy time during the 80s. I mean, they had won every single championship that you could think of back in the day. They were AWA Tag Team Champions. They were NWA World Tag Team Champions. They were New Japan Tag Team Champions. But the crowning jewel for them when they were through the 80s and they eventually got to the WWF in 1990. The crown jewel came from a year later, from July-August of 1990 to a year later at SummerSlam 91. They had the crowning achievement where they actually won the WWF, WWE World Tag Team Championships. So that was the crowning achievement for them, big time, you know. And they held the belts from SummerSlam 91 in August to January/February 92. They had won them twice. They had won them then when they left in mid to late 92, then came back in 97. They had won them again in 97 from late October to late November of 97. It was a short run for them for some reason, even though they could have won them and went off into the stratosphere, but other people were wanting other plans for themselves. PX. So yeah, they like I said, they left in 92, and they just well, they didn't leave in 92, sorry, my apologies. Mike Henstrom, Hawk, decided to go elsewhere, and Animal ended up being injured, and Animal took some time off to recover, while Hawk was over in Japan trying to make a Japanese version of the Road Warriors with Kenzo Sasaki. So it was like the Japan's version of Animal. He became like Japan's version of Animal, which was good of Hawk, but at the same time it didn't work. You know, they were classed, I think they were classed as the Power Warriors. Then that was the name that they were given. So yeah, those that don't know, Mike Henstrom had a drug and alcohol problem, like quite a lot of wrestlers did in the 80s and 90s, and he eventually did clean up his act when he found religion. So for some reason, it seems to be when they find religion, they give up on a lot of stuff. But there you go, whatever works for you, right? So they first came back to WCW, didn't like how it was in WCW, and then made a deal with Vince McMahon to return to the WWF in 97, and then were there till early 99 at least. Again, it came down to the fact that they were getting used, but they didn't get used properly. They were getting used to bring up the younger stars, which is fine, but at least let them get over a little bit as well, you know. So they had left there. Hawk had took a little break for a while after they'd left, and Animal done independent bookings and everything like that. But over the years, whenever they were separated, it was like one really couldn't be without the other. You have one Road Warrior and you have the other. They were a team. They were a proper tag team. They weren't just a singles wrestler and a singles wrestler meshed together and throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. These guys were friends. They grew up together. They broke in together. They were a proper tag team. Some would say even. You had the Road Warriors in the 80s and 90s, and then you had the Dudley Boys in the late 90s, early 90s, and a lot of people do compare just as a team, as a tag team. A lot of people compare the Road Warriors and the Dudley Boys together to say like they were a tag team, but my team has always been, I'll put my hand up, my team is the Dudley Boys as far as my favourite tag team go of all time. But I will say without a shadow of a doubt, the Road Warriors are the greatest tag team of all time. Okay, so the Dudley Boys are my tag team, but the Road Warriors are the greatest tag team of all time. So, mic dropped on that one. Okay, if you guys have an opinion on that, by all means, fire away. Fire away of who you think is the greatest tag team of all time. Comment down there. Say it. I'm just giving you my opinion. So yeah, Mike Hemstra died in 2003. They did actually make a return to the WWF WWE in 2003, and they made a return on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, where they faced tag team champions, being Kane and RVD. And there were some points in the match that you thought that, whoa, wait a minute, here comes the Road Warriors again with smashing the face off them. There's a part in the match, go back and look on the network, it's in May of 2003, where RVD goes to spin kick Animal, and Animal just catches them and power bombs them to the mat. And when you look at it, you're like, oh, here come the Road Warriors again. That was the kind of these were the kind of wrestlers that they were. The Road Warriors were these kind of wrestlers where they were really smash mouth in your face. So, yeah. So, Road Warrior Animal done his own thing after Hawk died over the years. The WWF, WWE even brought him back to start another version of the Road Warriors. But it just didn't work. They tried it in '98. They brought in a guy called Darren Drozdoff as well, to see if they could have made another reminiscence of the Road Warriors. Darren Drozdoff was Road Warrior face painted, padded up, the whole shebang. They tried it in '98. They tried it again in '05, and even though they got the belts and everything like that, it didn't fit, So, but they eventually got the recognition. The Road Warriors eventually got the recognition when they were inducted into the Hall of Fame of 2011. So, at least they got it. They got the recognition that they deserved. So it was just unfortunate that as time went on, Animal didn't get to do what he wanted to do, which is, coincidentally enough, the job that Devon Dudley has at the moment, I believe, is help enhance the tag teams going on in the WWF WWE. So, because Animal wanted to give back, basically, has all that tag team knowledge, could have passed that on. I mean, him and Devon could have been a tag team guys to give to the new the knowledge to the new guys, you know. But hey ho. So then we have then at 59 and 60, you know, we hear on Tuesday/Wednesday that Road Warrior Animal has passed away. So when I did, like I say, when I found that out, I was pretty upset. You know, I even cried a little bit because it was because it was like my childhood, part of my childhood dying. You know, it happened when Randy Savage died. It happened when Dusty Rhodes passed away. Happened when Roddy Piper passed away. You know, so I am a big wrestling fan. You know, put my hand up. I am a big wrestling fan. And when your childhood dies, part of your childhood dies. It's kind of a kick in the teeth. You know, it would be like if I'm a big sci-fi comic book geek as well, so it'd be like if a famous Star Trek actor died, or if a Batman actor or Superman actor died as well. I mean, I shed a tear for Christopher Reeve when he died, you know. So if we lost the likes of Michael Keaton or Kevin Conroy that voiced Batman for the animated series, you know, my heart would be broken. My heart would be broken. But you know, it's just the way things go, right? So I'm gonna finish this here, and I'm gonna give you some match recommendation, guys. Okay, so go back on the network, or go online and look up their matches. My favorite match is the 92 SummerSlam where they face Money Incorporated. Okay, so look that one up. Look up their street fight at WrestleMania 13 with Ahmed Johnson, and they were facing the Nation of Domination. That's quite a fun one. I think either Animal or Hawk actually put a fire extinguisher to somebody, so that was quite fun. But also, don't just look in the WWF WWE section. Go back and look at their AWA, WCW, and Georgia Championship Wrestling time. Even go back and find stuff on their Japan time too, because that was the best time in the Road Warriors. So I'm gonna leave it here. So R.I.P. the Road Warrior Hawk, R.I.P. the Road Warrior Animal, and thank you for the rush.